Hey everyone, what's going on? It's BradPhusion here and welcome back to Re-Engineering, where in today's episode I will be showing you guys a mini game I made using one of the new blocks added in the latest Space Engineers update. So that new block is a control panel. Now here is a quick demonstration on how it works before I show you guys the actual level I've made. So for a large ship you have 4 buttons as well as a control panel button in the middle, as where a small ship is just a 1 button type surface. Now the way this works is quite simple. You press K over it and it acts much like a cockpit seat would be, whereas you can drag the functionalities you want down to the toolbar down the bottom here. Now obviously it only has 4 buttons, so it's not as big as a toolbar is, but it still works basically the same way. So for example, on the last button, if I wanted to turn the reactor on and off, I go toggle block on or off, and down there if I press the button number 4, everything is shut off, and I can't really turn it back on because, well, it's turned off, so no electricity can transfer. So let me just turn it back on there and I can show you guys the other functions as well. So number 1 here makes that thing go back and forth, number 2 extends it out, and number 3 just locks the actual piston, the rotor in place. And it's very much the same for the small ship. It just instead only has 1 button down here, which is kind of adorable. But yeah, that's the basics of the control panels for anyone who was wondering how they work. Now to show you guys what I have made. So if anyone has played Garry's Mod in the past, you may have heard of a game mode called Death Run, which puts 2 teams against each other as one has to finish the obstacle course when the other one controls the traps. So here we have a very simple obstacle course. This is more of a concept than anything, showing you guys a few different traps that you can do and whatnot. I do have them running right now, but I can show you guys that in a second. So basically the objective of the runners is to get from the start all the way to the end and press a button that will then kill the people trying to kill them. Now for the runners, it isn't as simple as being the first one there. It's more so about trying to coax the other runners into going first and falling for the traps, whilst you yourself can then go on it and you'll be safe. As for the deaths, or the people against the runners, they have to activate the traps to try to kill as many runners as they can so no one makes it to the end. For example, the first room here is quite simple. The first button just opens up the door over there so the runners can flood in. They'll line up at the line there, and then when they're ready to go, you can press this button here to open and close the doors for them. The second button here just turns on or off the lights because I don't know, I just thought that was kind of a cool thing to do. At the start of the level, by the way, I have put in a medical bay if you want to change your colors or heal up on energy. I put that there because if you guys wanted to play survival, it is possible. You just have to bring your own uranium. So I put the reactors here. I think it only needs 1 reactor to power the whole thing. I can't be too sure, but I'm pretty sure it can only run off. It can run off just 1. Anyway, so let me show you guys some of the traps now from this perspective, and then I'll go through them myself. So right here we have the first trap, which is quite simple. You press the button here and it pushes the piston out, pushing anyone off who's standing in its path. Now they can't sneak behind it, as in they can't go through the wall or anything, but they can go underneath the piston when it's actually extended. So it's good for Def to kind of push this in and out quite quickly as possible. Now the one dickish thing that Des can do, and I can't really stop that, is they can leave traps on. For example, the next one here, this is just activating a thruster that will burn anyone alive. They can just leave this on and no one can progress. That's kind of a dick move to do, but you know, I guess I could suggest a rule that Des can only leave a trap on for a few seconds before having to turn it off again. So that moving on to the next one, it's pretty simple, just some rotating platforms on a rotor here, in which case you can stop and start that at your own will. So I guess if you wanted to trick them into thinking that nothing's there, they can jump on it, and the second they jump on it, you can kind of turn it on and they'll be knocked off before they make the jump. Quite simple. You can have them sped up a bit. I put it around this speed just because it's easier for me to demonstrate it, but you can go a little bit faster if you want to. Now the next one up here is just basically you can change the rotation of the wheels here, kind of messing up anyone who's about to do a jump or about to jump on them. You can make it so that you can knock them off or whatever. Quite effective. I get messed up on these quite a bit, but it's up to you guys how you guys want to play it. Then the next one is probably one of the dickiest traps here. Basically, the runners will have to jump onto the platform and then jump off again. However, you can press a button here, which just moves the platform, so they'll have a high chance of missing if you're a dick enough to move it just as they jump. Then the last trap here is basically a sprint for the runners to get through, but for you it's a grinding pit of death that will kill anyone who gets underneath of it. And this is why I suggested playing survival, because, well, there is actually the risk of death, which makes it that little bit more enjoyable. And then once the runners get to the end, there is a control panel down there with a button that turns on all the turrets in here that will shoot any of the death people that are controlling the control panels. Pretty simple map, pretty easy concept to understand, but I thought I would show it for you guys, put up on the workshop just in case any of you guys want to mess around with it. It is so nice having control panels now to do these things for us. But anyway, yeah, you can just imagine the deaths open up the door, the runners will run through, and like I said before, it isn't all about being the first one through everything. It's more so about convincing the other runners to go first, that way they fall for the traps. Because for example, if I'm the first one to run through here, it's most likely that there's a death waiting there for me to kind of push the piston open, so it'll push me off the edge. If I waited for someone else to do that first, I can then creep behind and then go through the trap myself, unharmed. The second's quite easy, it's just a jumping puzzle, other than the fact that it's got a thruster here. And I should say also, if you fall down, I'll just demonstrate that real quick. If you fall down, there is actually a door that leads all the way back to the start here. You go up a staircase and you're back at the start. Just in case you happen to fail or die or whatever. Well, actually, if you died, you spawn at the medical bay, but if you did fail, you can just walk back through the whole level all the way to the start. Quite easy to understand. Here's the rotating platform things, quite easy yet again, just because they're on a slower speed. It's easy enough to understand. The problem is, occasionally you won't jump off it properly, which I guess is I think it's a Space Invaders thing, but you can get used to that after a little while. And I am doing terrible at demonstrating this today. I was doing it fine when I did the last take, but today's take is like, nope. And there we go. This here's, yet again, quite easy. Oh, there, thank God for that. But you can imagine that being slightly more difficult if a death is spinning it back and forth. And this one here, like I said, is probably one of the dickiest traps. But I think if you jump in the middle of where it can move between, you should be safe for the most part. And here you have the risk of running through all this just to get to the end. And then when you're at the end, you activate the turrets to kill all the peoples. Yay! So that's basically it for Death Run. Like I said, it has heavy influence from the actual Death Run game mode in Gary's mod. If you haven't played that before, I recommend checking out with a whole bunch of friends. It's actually a lot of fun. And for the winner, you can walk all the way along this side of the level here, all the way back to the start. So yeah, it's very simple design, very simple concept. I've tried to make this as lag-free as possible. I myself have never seen under 100 FPS, which I think is alright. If you do experience a little bit of lag, you can turn off all the lights. I've left this open and the sun there, so you can just use the sunlight, which should increase performance a little bit for you guys. But other than that, I try to make it as lag-free as possible. So that does it for today. Let me know what you guys have used control panels for yourselves, and let me know what you think of the map in the comment section down below. I will be putting this up on the workshop yet again, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.